Hi. Right, thanks for all the good comments on the previous video. And I'll try and make it a bit more regular now. The bathroom project, by the way, is almost finished, and that's been quite a headache. I've just grabbed a couple of models I'm going to look at and talk briefly. And I'm going to start with this one because one of the things that was on my mind, because it was Canadian Sam that was saying he likes the Formula One Citroen project, which I actually like quite a lot. But I was pondering this: did I plan it? And I didn't really. It's sort of very accidental. So, and I have said in videos, I have not done many kit bashes, but I happen to have 3 or 4 lined up now. The Citroen Formula One is well underway, well structured in how it will go together, and then I've got a couple of others, but they are very accidental in how they come about. It's almost like, well, you've got something left over, or you think, well, I don't really want to build this, and what am I going to do with it? And then you have this other kit. Remember at that time, that Formula One kit, I was going to work on it, the Ferrari 312. Then I realized there was pieces missing, and quite disappointed. But if one goes with the attitude that, okay, right, I have this kit that now can't be completed as is, and therefore we have half to 3/4 of a kit that can now be combined with something else that you don't particularly want to build as it is. But you have to break through that barrier of, and like this one, I don't necessarily want it to be that cargo tractor. And one of the things that helps this decision is it a great kit or is it not that great a kit? Because it can be a way better kit bash than it can be its own kit. Because when it's a kit bash, you're not scrutinizing it for its accuracy, for its own detail. Now on the kit bash, you're not scrutinizing it for relevance to a real item at all. Now this is 1/32nd. Oh, 1/40th. So firstly, it's not even a scale. It's right in the corner there. This is not even a scale which fits in with any armor. It's a pretty crappy kit, to be honest. It's got a number of figures, and the figure quality is very, the figures sort of give a little bit of an idea of the approach to the whole kit. It is very low quality. Like, I'm almost holding up all the parts now. There's not much after that. And the running gear. And I don't really have a plan for this one, but I was pondering, this is the sort of thing where that front end looks sci-fi-ish for a moon patrol type of vehicle. In fact, even the way they've presented it in that picture, you get rid of that 50 cal off the top there, get rid of the olive drab, and this thing would just about fit into a moon patrol vehicle just as is. And so some of these models that come to me, I sort of lose interest in them, and you think, well, let's just put that aside, and suddenly this idea just takes shape. So that's what will happen with this one. It will be I don't know exactly what type of moon patrol dash futuristic, and what I would need to do to modify it with something else. That remains to be seen. But that's where that one's headed. And so if you do have these kits which you think they might have a little bit of potential as something else. Now, not all things do. This one, of course, does have a lot of potential for being something else. But this one doesn't. Now I'm going to look at both of these kits because I haven't looked. I just want to refresh my memory on them. I don't want to say there's limiting aspects, because you can do something with anything, but that F-35 is pretty much going to look like an F-35. We'll get back to that. But you know, with these big rotors and that fuselage, I mean, it's already been used in sci-fi movies in a modified format. It's got the interesting tail, but what do I actually want to do with this one? And I think I've sort of gone through both mindsets on this one. I would like to do an Osprey, and I would like to do a modified thing. And I think the last thing that I said was, you know, use this fuselage, drop those big engines and the big propellers, put on something else, some large jets or something. So I'm still playing with this idea on this one. I mean, the Osprey would look nice, but so would something else. It sort of depends on how much of a mindset you have for creating a new thing. Nice little decals they've got there for the Lover's scheme. I did once build the 148th, but I didn't complete the model, and I passed it on to someone. It was okay, but this one is a little bit better quality. I can't remember what the other one was. But I can certainly see these engines being very, very nice for another model. And if we completely ignore the engines, if you cut that out of your vision, and you imagine that fuselage with maybe a couple of tweaks or something, and changed into a new type of flying craft. So that's, you know, that's also got this possible plan at the moment. I mean, it's a nice model, nothing wrong with it. This one would certainly not be one that I'm kit bashing because I'm upset with any aspect of the model or that it doesn't fit in. This is a nice model. I remember when the Osprey first came out, not the model, the actual aircraft, in, must have been the 90s. When did that one come out? I'm not sure if they say the first date here. No, I'm not, can't see that, but I sort of remember it might have been the 90s. And I very much liked it, and they came out with models quite soon after that. So that one's sort of waiting by the side. And I was watching some videos on YouTube about the F-35 again. What was... Yeah, I can't remember the exact thing. This is the prototype, because I think I've got... Do I have one or two left? I sold one of them. I wouldn't call that the most exciting scheme, but as F-35s go, it probably is the most exciting scheme, because everything else is very, very low-vis. You get better and less... You get better and not so good versions of this model. This one has got, and I'll show you this, all of the, there's markings for a lot of these things as well, but you see that pattern on the back, you see all of those, and all of those, they recessed panel lines, and they're probably a little bit more pronounced recessed than what one might like. And they're probably more recessed than the reality on the actual aircraft. But I won't complain about that, I'm not saying anything wrong with that. It's nice that it's recessed and it's nice that it's present. But a lot of them get decals that go over that, which means that you would have silvering present. But I'm not quite sure about all of this. Maybe there's not that many on this particular model. And I sort of do need one F-35. As much as I say, you know, so I'm getting a little bit bored with it. Maybe because we see it quite often in the news and so on at the moment. I really should build one. It's not like it takes a huge amount of space here. So I do... Let me just actually check the quality of this one. This is Hasegawa, so it should be quite nice. Top surface, really the only odd blemish is, you know, that injection of the plastic into the mold, giving a slight matte line in one area there, but otherwise very good. Bottom, not really any blemish that stands out, so very nice kit. And got intakes. We have got turbines, we have got the fins, so they've got the bottom section which is a separate bit. It's not an extremely full kit. I'll show you which is, you know, so it's not a long build. That's it. So really not too much reason for me to actually skip this as one of my scheduled builds. Do this prototype scheme, try and bring it to life nicely, maybe do it a little bit more vibrantly than that grey. I'm not always one that follows the absolute exact so for instance, if I was doing this one, I wouldn't be too upset with myself if I did that exact scheme. So yes, it is the prototype, but I change a little bit off from that particular grey shade. I'm not saying I have a specific thing in mind, but just something that brings it to life a little bit more. It might be a weathering. Now, I mean, you'll notice that obviously these are absolutely pristine, and that you won't, you know, putting panel line darkening into the lines would just look so out of place. But there might be something that one can do to just bring it to life a little bit more than that. So that is a very nice one. And these kit bashes that I've got lined up, which is really the 3 that you know about, although you might have forgotten about the other 2. One was the boxcar fuselage, and the other one was a Chinook fuselage, going to be modified onto different bases. And it's not like I'm really setting a lot of stuff aside to build up this long queue of kit bashings. They're almost accidental, even in them occurring in my build history. I'm trying to think. I mean, I did 1 or 2 in the 80s, and I can't really remember any significant kit bash for a long time. So this Citroen will be something quite different. It was almost a bit accidental in, realizing that the Formula One body, the Formula One front end could actually fit to the Citroen, and that this, because I originally had a completely different idea for that Citroen, and then I changed that plan to make it this new interesting thing. Now, you notice that I actually built the Sea Shadow one model at a time. Quite unique for me. So the next one, and I have been saying that I need to get this wheelie yellow done. I might break that rule a little bit and squeeze in something else before that. We'll see. Try and work on just one at a time. The desk, which was all nice and clean, you remember I cleaned that up. Boy, does that get cluttered quickly. I've had to declutter it 3 times already. Not major, just since it's open space, I put things down on it. And it's pretty important to keep a nice clean working space if I want to work on one model at a time. Otherwise, I'll just start putting a second and a third and a fourth and a fifth. Okay, so I'm going to go inside and think I might make that Citroen the next one, but I'll first just have a look. I was going to do a quick build on the Defender. We'll see what I think. That might actually be good. Just do something without any painting. I mean, not that the Sea Shadow was difficult. That was actually not draining, not challenge. Well, it was challenging on the decals, but I mean, not a heavy build. So I think doing that Defender might actually be a nice little thing next. That yellow is very bright though. What are your thoughts? Maybe I should spray it just to get rid of the yellow. Okay, I'm headed inside. Happy modeling. Cheers.